Jesus.
Welcome to the regular meeting held on Wednesday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Freeholder Graham.
Here.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Here.
Freeholder Vitello will be absent this evening. Freeholder Director Rose.
Present.
Freeholder Yardley.
Here. Can we please stand for a moment of silence and salute to the flag? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975 has been made by regular mail. Such notice being submitted on January 8, 2018 from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, WNNJ Radio. It is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for the public announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make it.
Motion by Yardley, second by Graham. Discussion. Just notice in front of you, you have a new copy of resolution regarding authorizing emergency temporary appropriations of 2018 operating budget for the County of Sussex. There is slight changes in there. We'll discuss when we come to it. The title remains the same, so the agenda does not change. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is carried. Proclamations, certificates, presentations. Proclamation in recognition of April 3rd, 2018 as National Service Recognition Day. Proclamation in recognition of April as Parkinson's Awareness Month. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion by Graham.
It's a proclamation. Just throw it. Second. Hey, second.
Second by Lazaro.
I'm sorry.
Discussion.
Is it tough?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Public hearings. A, final adoption resolution. At our regular meeting held on February 28, 2018, we introduced for first reading the following resolution, which was advertised in the New Jersey Herald issue of March 28, 2018, together with a notice of public hearing stating that it would be held at this meeting at 7 o'clock p.m. Resolution regarding authorizing cap to limit county budget appropriation increase to calendar year 2018 county budget to 3.5% over the previous year's final appropriations, subject to certain exceptions, and to establish an appropriation cap bank. Can I have a motion that the public hearing be opened?
Motion.
Motion by Graham.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Is anyone present to be heard regarding this resolution? Seeing none, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro, second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion that this resolution be finally adopted?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Lazaro. I'm sorry, motion by Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Could I have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this resolution as finally adopted and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Final adoption ordinance. At a regular meeting held on March 14, 2018, we introduced for first reading the following ordinance, which was advertised in the New Jersey Herald issue of March 28, 2018, together with a notice of public hearing stating that it would be held at this meeting at 7 o'clock p.m. Bond ordinance providing for various 2018 capital improvements by and in the County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $8,299,000 therefore, and authorizing $7,714,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance parts of the cost thereof. Could I have a motion that the public hearing be opened?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes.
One opposed.
I was not able to tell the difference. Can we please have a roll call?
Freeholder Graham.
Wait a second. Roll call on yes or?
I was not able to Hotel on the voice vote. Can we have a roll call to record who?
Freeholder Graham,
This is to open the
Yes.
hearing. Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro,
Yes.
Freeholder Rose.
Yes.
Director, Freeholder Yardley.
I voted no.
The resolution does not pass, requires a 2/3 vote.
Yeah, but this is to open the
Just
public
the
hearing?
public hearing.
Oh, I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
We're just
I'm
for
sorry.
public hearing. That does pass. The meeting is now open to the public. Is anyone here, is anyone present to be heard regarding this ordinance? Seeing none, could I have a motion to close the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Motion by Lazar,
Second.
second by Graham. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion that this ordinance be finally adopted.
So moved.
Motion by Lazar,
Second.
second by Graham. Discussion. This now is the motion to pass the ordinance, not to open it to the public or close to the public.
Right.
Like a roll call.
What is, my question is, what is the total amount we're looking at for the year? This amount reflects not everything. This is basically capital projects that we're involved in. So if I could have the administrator explain, this is,
This bond ordinance, the freeholders' consideration of this bond ordinance will authorize appropriations of $8.299 million and further authorizing $7.714 million of bonds or notes to finance the 2018 capital improvement program as incorporated by reference in the general fund budget.
what will the total be for the year? Because last year you authorized, I guess, 10, and by the time the end of the year came, it was 11.3.
That wouldn't be possible. It has to be rolling money from previous years. The amount we authorize is the amount that we spent.
So last year you authorized 10 million.
Right, but there might have been a previous to that. Was there a previous bond that wasn't, that might have been brought up the year before that hadn't been expended?
Where are you getting, Mr. Yardley, where'd you get those
It
numbers?
was on a finance number. I have it in the office and was running back and forth when I was looking at it. And so when I look at the bonding, like we're trying to stay at 10, but the numbers doesn't show 10. So when I'm looking at this is 7. We're authorizing 10, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So this is 8299. So my question is, are we going to be going over the 10? And that's what it seems to show, is that I think the year before was about 13 million.
In bond payments, are you perhaps thinking about? Because
It could
the
be.
payments,
Yeah,
could-
because-
typically we attempt to pay off $1 million above what we take. The idea is to decline the total debt by $1 million per year. So if there's 10 million in bonds authorized, it would be 11 million in payments, and we try to keep that, we've tried to keep that consistent for the last few years, so that the total debt load in the county reduces by approximately 1 million per year. So could you possibly be thinking about the bond payments?
Just the end of the year number is what it was.
It may have been a carryover of an approved expense from the previous year that was totaled into that amount.
Which might have also been from previous bonds, because we've had that. Like, for instance, there's a project going on across the street, at our gym house. That bond was approved a couple of years ago. So the payments would show up this year, but the bond was approved a couple of years ago.
I think that's what is the confusing part, because if it's 10, I'm expecting that it would be consistent as $10 million a year.
It doesn't always land in the same fiscal or the same calendar year.
So there should be a projection then of a projection here that would say we're doing 8 $8 million, and the total amount with the carryover doesn't show up, and that's what I'm looking for.
Right, but if you look over, let's say you look over 3 years, let's say it was 10 years over 3 years, it's $30 million, okay? It might be 10 million that was bonded the first year, but only 8 million was bonded, spent that year. And then the following year, there might have been 12 million because projects roll into the following year. We run into that a lot, especially with roads and with capital projects. Like I said, perfect example is across the street with the roof. I know that project has been bid and rebid more than once. So I don't know. I haven't seen the balance sheet that you're looking at. Maybe we need to see that in order to understand what you're talking about.
If you do want to get it, the Freeholder Board, if you want to look at that sheet again, we could call for a 5-minute recess.
What happens if this cannot be postponed to the next meeting? Is it important to do this tonight?
Yeah, because it's part of the budget.
Mr. Palm?
It's appropriate that the board consider this at this time. I'm unsure as to what Freeholder Yardley's question is. The ordinance that you're being asked to consider this evening is the ordinance that will allow us to implement the 2018 capital improvement program, which was reviewed with the freeholders at the budget work session. The total amount of projects in the capital improvement program for 2018 is $10.3 million. It is not anticipated that new debt authorized will exceed $9.9 million. In accordance with what the freeholders' direction was, is that no new debt authorized should exceed $10 million. This is the ordinance that will provide the authorization necessary for the treasurer and his staff, along with bond counsel, to be able to go and borrow the funds necessary to implement the 2018 capital improvement program. In terms of debt service payments, that is a different schedule. And I certainly am not prepared at this moment to give an analysis on what the debt payments are. That's covered in a different appropriation within the budget, specifically in concerns to debt service. As the freeholder director has indicated, the Treasury Department has a debt management plan, and the overall plan is to reduce the amount overall of what the county will continue to borrow. But the debt management plan is a multi-year plan that is used to ensure tax rate stability in the general fund budget.
All right, so we're not going to exceed $10 million. We're at $9 million.
There will not be new debt authorized in excess of $10 million.
Mr. Williams, can you please just provide a brief synopsis for the Freeholder Board about the 2/3 rule for debt service, for new debt authorization for the county?
It's a 2/3 vote of the full membership, so the absence of 4 until tonight is not a quorum, so you would need the 4 votes in order for this resolution to pass.
So what Mr. Williams is saying is that it would require all 4 votes of all members sitting here to answer in the affirmative for this to pass. If there was 1 vote in the negative, this would not pass, and in general, you would not bring the same ordinance back. Don't forget that ordinances generally require an introduction and a final adoption. So it's not something that we could not bring this back rapidly. It would be another month before we could have another adoption for a debt ordinance.
Mr. Director, if I may. I just want to bring back to the freeholders' attention that the projects associated with this bond ordinance that are included in the text of this bond ordinance provide for the operation of all of the county's capital needs, including our fleet, including the resurfacing of roads, providing for the repair and reconstruction of bridges. It also is in support of a variety of law enforcement projects, which include improvements to the jail as well as the county's 911 system, along with other facility improvements for HVAC. It also provides funding for the county's obligation under the licensed site remediation program that we're required to abide by in accordance with the DEP. So just to bring back to the board's attention what these funds will be used for.
Mr. Williams, with respect
How
to,
about, if I could, I'll change my vote. That will move this along.
well, we haven't taken a vote yet,
Yeah,
but,
I'll
so
change-
it's not there.
I will vote the affirmative.
Can I bring one other thing? Okay. I'd like to, since we're doing this, I know we're jumping ahead a moment, but the very next one, we have a $2.8 million ordinance that we are also bond ordinance, which half of that comes back as Chapter 12 money.
Yeah.
So, but I just want to make sure that we understand that because when you do the math, if you don't do the Chapter 12 money, it does appear that our number is higher. It's not higher. I just want to
No,
make sure that.
no, that I understand.
Okay.
That I understand, no problem.
All right.
Okay.
and those two ordinances together comprise that $10 million less the one half of the Chapter 12.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm going to ask that I have an opportunity to meet with Greg and the CFO to just review that, to make sure that I have a better understanding of that.
Okay, anytime you would like. Any further comments, discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rhodes?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
I have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as finally adopted and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center.
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. Final adoption, ordinance. At our regular meeting held on March 14, 2018, we introduced for first reading the following ordinance, which was advertised in the New Jersey Herald issue of March 28, 2018, together with a notice of public hearing stating it would be held at this meeting at 7:00 p.m. Bond ordinance providing for the undertaking of 2018 capital improvements at and for certain facilities of Sussex County Community College located within the county of Sussex, state of New Jersey, appropriating $2.8 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2.8 million bonds or notes to the county of Sussex, state of New Jersey, for financing such appropriation, the principal of and interest on the aggregate principal amount of which will be entitled to state aid pursuant to Chapter 12 of the laws of New Jersey of 1971. Can I have a motion that the public hearing be opened?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Yardley. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Is anyone present to be heard regarding this ordinance? Dr. Connolly, can you just state your name and spell us?
Yes. John Conley, I'm the president of Sussex County Community College, and I'd just like to offer a few comments about this particular ordinance. First of all, I'd like to say that we're very grateful to the state of New Jersey and to the county of Sussex for consideration of this bond ordinance. Chapter 12, as Freeholder Graham mentioned, is essentially a very unique program the state of New Jersey has that most states actually don't have. And this provides for capital improvement of the community college system in the state of New Jersey. Sussex County Community College has an interesting challenge in front of it, and that is trying to advance the old into the new, while also trying to modernize what we need to do with new academic programs. This particular bond ordinance is a mixture of those things. We have facilities that are tired and they need to be upgraded in that sense. We also have new programs that we need to advance. And as I've mentioned before this body, where Sussex County Community College has ignored its role and its obligation is primarily in technical career education. Before I arrived, we essentially had all but a transfer college-oriented admission. We had a graphic design program of study. We have, of course, got our nursing program in partnership with Passaic County Community College, and we had an automotive program, which was my arrival was pretty cool. Other than that, we didn't have technical career programs. In order to build a tighter relationship with Sussex Tech, our tech school, in order to supply for the workforce of today and tomorrow, we have a middle skills gap that needs to be met. Sussex County Community College is doing what many other community colleges in the state of New Jersey are doing, and that is hot-footing it into what we need to do in the trades. We are the most ambitious dimensions of this that will be supported by this particular bond ordinance is what we wish to do downtown here in Newton. As you folks are well aware, the McGuire Chevrolet dealership has been abandoned. It's been abandoned for at least 3 years. It is a terrific space for technical career education, possibly. There's also a few spaces, shall we say, on Spring Street that are abandoned that frankly could use a space where we could practice our culinary skills in the culinary program at Sussex County Community College. We'll be using this money and others to advance these programs so that we can have a culinary institute downtown, which will serve our students and train them in a unique model that nobody else in the state is going to have, but also to advance our automotive programs so it's got a permanent home as opposed to being sort of an itinerant program, moving from dealership to dealership for space. A welding program, hopefully diesel. We have a curriculum developed and passed for a diesel program. And then machine tool is our ongoing partnership with Thor Labs dictates. We just really need more space. That is going to be fed by what we're doing with our new building on campus. We're going to be developing a maker space where students are going to get a taste for the creativity related to trades and working with this kind of equipment. And then frankly, they'll be working with the same instruments in machine tool in the maker space, which is very STEM-like. And they might go actually into machine tool and work in preparation to be employees of Thor Labs. They might be working in sort of with wood as prototyping for those things. There's also electronics that we can do with robotics, and that is going to advance our STEM engineering and robotics at the college, which is behind at the present time. So all of that is possible because of Chapter 12 and because of this ordinance that's before you. So we're grateful for your assistance on that, and then we come to you with gratitude.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one else, could I have a motion that the public hearing be closed?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro,
Second.
second by Graham. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the public hearing is closed. Could I have a motion that this ordinance be finally adopted?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Room.
Yes.
Freeholder Yorgan.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as finally adopted and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Final adoption ordinance, amending speed limits established along County Route 517 under resolution entitled, quote, establishing speed limits on Route 517 in the borough of Andover and the townships of Andover and Sparta, end quote, dated October 11th, 1977. Can I have a motion that the public hearing be opened?
Motion.
Motion by Graham.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open to the public. Is anyone present to be heard regarding this ordinance? Seeing no one, could I have a motion that the public hearing be closed?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The public hearing is closed. Motion that this ordinance be finally adopted.
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion?
And one question, when this was first brought up, there was a question regarding Borough of Andover and Townships of Andover. Has that been resolved?
Yeah, this is the borough. 517 the borough, that's that little road that comes out across from the gas station.
Isn't this,
No, no, no.
isn't this up by the
Township.
it's on the other end?
Wait, Mr. Prof, can you explain?
It has to do with the naming of the road, and you'll have to excuse me. and that the county engineer has confirmed, in fact, that what has been presented to the board, in fact, is the way in which the ordinance is to be amended.
That's all.
In other words, between the quotes on your paperwork is the title of a resolution that was passed on October 11th, 1977. It doesn't, we're amending that resolution as a title of that.
Okay.
Correct?
Correct.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham,
Yes, now.
Freeholder Lazaro,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as finally adopted and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the county administrative center?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Public session from the floor. Please note, everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less and only address issues regarding agenda items followed by a 3-minute response time from the Freeholder Board. Please state your name and put your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet, which is on the podium there. I have a motion to open public session. Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Yardley. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open to the public. Seeing no one from the public, can I have a motion to close public session?
Motion to close public session.
Second.
Motion by Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is closed to the public. Freeholder comments. Freeholder Yardley?
I do have this Institute of, I did get an email, Institute of Museum Library Grants. I think I sent this to everyone. Did everyone get this? Where there's up to $150,000. Cost share is 1-1. I'm not sure if we have any projects, but I don't know if we get this on the board.
We can pass it on to Mr. Pop and you can get it to Will, our library director.
Attended Project Self-Sufficiency. They have a new educational bus that is traveling through Sussex and parts of Morris, and that was a great opportunity. So Freeholder Graham here and Freeholder Patillo. Were you there?
I was
I
not.
can't remember. Memory goes sometimes. And it was a great time and a great honor, and they're doing a very good job. Also, I attended the Chamber of Commerce. They had a program, actually it was held at the college in the morning, on tourism. And the state came in and it was very interesting, and if the freeholders, other freeholders get an opportunity to see the presentation. It was actually made by a consultant, was I believe hired by the state, and there's grant money in for the chamber to hire someone to go around and promote the county. And we are in a unique position, looking to bring tourism and how it benefits the county. It's a interesting program, and I hope that the chamber is successful, because I believe that will benefit. It actually helps explain to people all of the great things we have in the county, that instead of having one person advertising one thing, I'm simplifying it, but kind of give a better picture of all of the great opportunities there are up here in Sussex County. So I just wanted to say that's happening. And then there were just other activities here in the building that we've been involved in. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Lazaro?
FYI, I have not removed my snow blower from my tractor. We still have April to go. Storm number 32 brought our total of expenses for storm snow removal and road clearance and response to $1,736,824. So we're rapidly approaching the 2 million number if we get quieted out. And I must say that our road department has done an admirable job of being on top of these storms and getting our roads cleared with substantial difficulty on some of these roads. But they've done a marvelous job in clearing, and the wind blowing has brought the snow back across. These last two storms had considerable wind, and that meant that those roads had to be replowed within an hour after they were plowed the first time. So kudos to the road department for staying on top of that. I went to New Jersey Association of Counties meeting, and there are several things that came up there. I'm just going to make a couple of things aware to the public that I want you to be aware of. There is a bill that is sitting in the schedule for a vote in the Senate, number 5, Sweeney and Kane. And essentially what this bill does is it replaces members on the police and firemen's retirement system with members of the police and firemen associations, meaning that the entire board now consists of police and firemen individuals. This is one of the largest pensions in the state of New Jersey. And if this bill passes, it turns the complete control of that fund and that bill over to the police and fire departments. And these are the paid fire departments, not the voluntary fire departments. This is a substantial sum of money, like $334 million to a defined benefit plan. The state will spend an estimated $913 million to subsidize the police and firemen's retirement system in 2018. The board would now would vest the board in a 7-5 majority, which enables a new board of trustees to pretty much do whatever they want. This is something that the citizens of New Jersey have to get on top of and notify their legislators and notify the Senate and the Assembly that we can't handle this. There is a limit to what we can take in the funding of these pension plans and in the expenses of these pension plans. And if we don't speak up, we will be paying much, much more, and I don't know where it's going to come from. NJAC opposed this, and NJAC also opposed the Workplace Democracy Act, which gives employees the right to conduct all their employee business during the workday and time off during the workday, and that certainly makes for a really a messed up workday, to put it politely, and Jack opposed that also. Earned sick leave was opposed also, which extended the sick leave program for all employees, an additional 15 paid sick leaves each year. It's getting to the point now where you get paid more money to stay out of work than you do to come to work. The other thing that had great discussion at the NJAC meeting was the 911 center, and I cannot for the life of me understand why the press has not jumped on this 911 center thing. There is still, every telephone in the state of New Jersey is assessed a tax of $1 to go for 911 centers throughout the state of New Jersey. We are not getting any of that money. It is all being diverted, with the exception of a few pennies, and I mean pennies, like $10,000 or $15,000 out of the millions that have been collected are being spent for 911 centers. The money is going to other law enforcement things, to pet projects that the governor and the legislature wants to put the money in. This is your money. You are being directly taxed off of your 911 bill for $1 after every telephone. Now you add that up for the number of cell phones, telephone lines that are in the state of New Jersey, and that money amounts to millions of dollars. And it's buying police cars and other assorted things. None of it is going to the 911 centers. So you're paying for the 911 center through your state tax, through the telephone, and through the county tax. 3 times we're paying for 911 centers, and we're not getting any of the money that we were promised that we would get. This is typical of the way New Jersey does things when they tax you. So that tax will probably never go away. And if we don't start to see some of it, you're going to see 911 centers go away, because the money is not there to operate them unless we bring it out of the local revenue. So that had a great discussion, an extensive discussion. And hopefully there will be some changes in that, but I don't think it's gonna happen unless the people and the press put it out there and get people's ire up, because we're just gonna keep paying and get no results on it. So it's up to you to do something. There's very little we can do anymore. They don't listen to us anymore. I guess that's all I have for the time being. Those two things were top-notch things that are gonna cost a lot of money for the taxpayers of the state of New Jersey. And we don't have any control over them unless we take action and take control over them. That's good for me.
Thank you. Before we move on to Freeholder Graham, would you, either of you, like to discuss your new haircuts? Mention that quickly.
Well, I went on this, I had my 75th birthday, so I decided I should look younger. So I got my hair taken off. Jonathan and I were, it's a little fuzzy now, it's coming back. It's nice because you get up in the morning, take a shower, you don't have to comb your hair. And I look in the mirror, and it was a great experience. Jonathan and I had our head shaved for.
And Freeholder
Oh, and
Yardley.
Freeholder Yardley.
I actually-
This is, I don't count
I
this.
actually thought, Carl, you did that because you looked at this and you said, wow, that looks really cool.
That's exactly what he did, right? That's
Herb
exactly
made
what he
a
did.
modest sacrifice.
I did make a modest sacrifice.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So we had our hair shaved, much to the joy and excitement. We raised a little over $2,500 in about a half hour, 45 minutes for St. Baldrick's. We had a child that we sponsored with cancer, that the Sussex Fire Department sponsored, that had cancer. I'm sorry that the paper wasn't there to take pictures of us, because we were in all our glory. And everybody wanted a piece of our hair, and we were gladly willing to give it to them if they were willing to pay for it. So we raised a substantial sum of money for the kids, and it was a fun experience. And Jonathan, we have to thank you for conning us into doing it. You did a good job of selling the project.
Overall, the Sussex Fire Department raised about $38,000 during that charity event, which went to St. Baldrick's, which is a charity for research into cancer, into stopping cancer for children with cancer. And just think, with that pile of hair, how many voodoo dolls now there are out there, both of the three of us.
Damn, I forgot to get some of that hair.
Freeholder Graham.
I kept my hair, but I parted with my money because I threw the money at the thing. I wasn't going to talk about that, but I was there. The one thing that struck me was that how Mayor Little actually shed a tear that she had to actually cut your hair.
Excuse me, not to take any of your time, but there was a counter operation of trying to collect funds to have him not cut his hair.
That's correct.
So,
Yes, Freeholder Rose, there was a group of ladies who were trying to raise money so he wouldn't cut his hair. So there was some justice going on at the same time. I'd like to mention the Project Self-Sufficiency event that we attended. And Project Self-Sufficiency is a very good operation. It's a very, very good charity. It's a very, very good part of our county. Project Self-Sufficiency goes for what's the best in all of us. It's not just helping people, but it's helping people help themselves and move themselves onto it. I know I have Dr. Connolly here is a big supporter of Project Self-Sufficiency. Herb, you did a great job in getting up there and talking. What they did was they have an RV that has been retrofitted with a bank of computers, and instead of certain people from several towns having to come to their location across from the college, this bus is going to stop at different towns, and there's a Hamburg and Necon, I can't remember all the towns. There were 8 towns, I think there were, that they're going to actually stop on Main Street. They have locations where they're going to be able to hold classes for people who have to develop their skills in computer. And what's particularly important is this is a lot of times is for single mothers who really can't find childcare, getting them ready to go into the workforce. One of the things that struck me when you go to Project Self-Sufficiency, if you haven't gone there, is that as they tour you around, they actually have a room filled with clothing, business suits, because people need clothing sometimes to be able to present their best face forward. They teach them how to do resumes, public speaking. It's just a marvelous program. I'm very happy and very proud that I'm associated with it. We did attend at the Sussex Tech, the Skills USA. Skills USA was amazing. I got a phone call from my nephew who said, please show up to this thing. It's okay. And so I went up there, not really knowing what I was going to see. Every one of the trades had some sort of a skill competition. So it had to do with everything from testing, let's say automotive. They had 4 different things going on. One was in customer service, the other one was in brakes, another one was in electronic analysis, and I forget what the 4th was, but that's how it was through the whole thing. There was one competition where it was just that. It was sitting for a customer service, how they conducted themselves in a particular situation. Cooking was amazing. The kitchen was just a buzz. I was putting pictures up on Facebook over and over again because I was just amazed at how many people were there. The bakery, went into the bakery, every single spot in the bakery, somebody was doing something. And it went on all day long, and just before here we had the equalization hearing for the budget for the tech, and the head cook, I don't know what was the chef.
Walker-Zork.
Yeah.
Walker-Zork.
Yeah, he was there. He was there, and he was talking about it. And but they don't know exactly how many. They know that they've won competitions. They just don't know what they are yet. The judging is still in process.
And the winners of the competition go to the national. So it's another step up. It's a pretty awesome thing.
It was extremely disciplined. There was some groups that had red jackets on because they handled certain skills. There was some that had khakis on because they handled other skills. It was, you know, it made you proud. It really did. It made you proud to go there and see things being done in a competitive way, civility, a great deal of respect for the competition as well as for their teammates. Human Services Forum. Tomorrow, March 29th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., is going to be a Human Services Forum. Freeholder Deputy Director Sylvia Patillo and Department of Health and Human Services are hosting a Human Services Forum in the Performing Arts Atrium at the Sussex County Community College. This event, originally scheduled to take place on Tuesday, March 6th, has been rescheduled to tomorrow because of weather. Breakfast will be served at 8:30. A brief review of the local service resources available to residents of Sussex County will be shared during the forum. This is a unique opportunity to demonstrate the partnerships between county and municipal governments and the schools in working together to meet the needs of our residents. In light of the recent incidents around the country, it's an especially crucial time for community partners across the country to join together to support their communities. Seating is limited. The event is invite only. Actually, seating's not limited. Everybody show up, please. As many people as possible show up. We'll pull seats. I mean, I know John Connolly's got some chairs hidden someplace.
We can take them all.
That's what I figured.
Squeeze them in. It just allows me to burn less oil. I turn the heat down, and the body heat just keeps everybody warm.
We also have Cram the Cruiser. I don't know if you've noticed around town, different towns, but there's Cram the Cruiser. The local police department, sheriff's officers, and New Jersey police troopers of Sussex County teaming up to conduct second annual Cram the Cruiser. The drive benefits the food pantry and the Division of Social Services, which provides food to the Sussex County residents in need of assistance. Donations are also accepted at all police departments. It runs between March the 15th and March the 31st. In the Sussex County Sheriff's Office from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30. The locations are Byram ShopRite on Wednesday and Saturday, the Sparta Stop and Shop on Saturday, and the Vernon Acme also on Saturday. NJC Women's Health Screening Clinics are Monday, April 9th, 2018 from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Free prostate cancer screenings exam for men. April 11th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Wheatsworth facility. Senior Life Center presentations. I'm glad you're here. We were talking about how the college is an integral part of our community. The Senior Life Center at Sussex County Community College is a collaboration between the Sussex County Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior Services, and Sussex County Community College. Sussex County Community College has opened up their facilities, and it's also, I think it's, you probably have some enrollment for people who have either gray hair or no hair, right?
We do. We have a 90-year-old who is now a member of Phi Theta Kappa, for example.
There are a number of programs. A guest lecture by Janet Della Vecchia of AAA regarding exploring our world through travel in the Performing Arts Center on Friday, April 6th at 1 p.m. On Friday, April 13th, there's a primarily about yoga. Yoga certified instructor, learn how mental and physical health benefits of meditation and yoga. There's also drama classes because, you know, we seniors like drama. So I can say. Sussex County Community College is also making open computer lab available for free to county seniors to practice their computer literacy skills. And they are changing day by day. For those of us who learned computers back in the 80s and the 90s, I just bought a new computer yesterday, and it's Windows 10, and I don't know. It's there. That is from 9 a.m. to noon on Mondays and Wednesdays during the spring 2018 semester. The Department of Health has a monthly conference call. This is important for every municipality. Every municipality knows about it, but I don't know if everybody who lives in the municipalities know about it. But every one of your towns have a monthly conference call. This one is on Wednesday, April 11th at 10 a.m. All kinds of questions are solicited from the group. What's going on? What we're doing right? Where we could do improvements? And this has been going on for the better part of like the last year and a half. And it's a way of being able to get out and not only explain what we're doing, but also a way of the municipalities to respond back to us. And Herb, have you ever tapped in on one of those calls?
I have not.
Why don't you do that if you have an opportunity
Good
someday?
idea.
Because it would be good for you you have more knowledge on that than anybody.
So how do you tap into it?
Well,
We'll get the code.
you get the code. It's be a really good for, particularly to hear in on how we're doing.
Do the towns have the code?
The towns have the code, yes. Okay, just, I know I'm going long-winded, but I got lots to read. The Office of Public Health Nursing, Communicable Disease Investigations and Rabies Investigations. From March the 7th through March the 22nd, there were 57 reportable diseases diagnosed in Sussex County. Among those were Lyme disease, a bunch of them that I can't pronounce. But there were 57 altogether. Vernon had 10, Sparta 5, Newton 5, Hardiston 5, Franklin 4, Wantage 4. They had the most cases of reportable illnesses in the 2 weeks of March of 2018. Just about every other town had something, but those were the ones that had the most. There was one suspected gastrointestinal outbreak at Stillwater School. And there was a Senior Services Advisory Council meeting at Knoll Heights Village in Sparta. It is a monthly meeting. This was on Thursday, April 5th at 9 a.m. And it is I believe it's every month. I think that maybe on the summer it's not. There's two more things I have to go into. One is the needs assessment survey. Those age 60 or over, which Carl, you obviously threw that out there, over 60. We are in the process of conducting a survey to identify the needs of seniors age 60 or older who live in the county. Data collected from the survey will help the division identify and prioritize programs and services that will be funded in the future. All seniors are encouraged and invited to complete a needs assessment survey. All information is confidential. The needs assessment survey is available at various senior clubs, but you can also download it from our website. Backpack for kids. WSUS and WNNJ Radio hosted a food drive at Stop and Shop in Sparta on the 24th and 25th of March to benefit the food pantry of the Division of Services, Social Services. This effort yielded over 5,000 pounds of food and $2,650 in monetary donations that will be used to support the Backpack Snacks for Kids effort, but supply snacks to local school districts for children in need. This is a program that is separate from any of our other programs, that is taken into consideration that a number of students that are on the high needs risk group that are given meals at schools on the weekends do not have that. And so through this program, actually a backpack is sent home with the students on Friday. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham.
Can I make one other comment? Many people probably don't know, but during the storm, the OEM office was open 24/7, and they did a marvelous job of handling emergencies during the outages, the storms, trees falling, wind blowing, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to make note that the 911 center performed magnificently during that storm. There were some 911 centers in the northern part of the county that got wiped out because of tree falls and lines down, and we were able to jump in and handle all their calls while they got back up online and running. So there was a great cooperation, a cooperative effort going on between the county 911 center and the other individual 911 centers that were able to continue to provide all the services. What you may not know is that the volunteer fire departments and the ambulance services, when this kind of thing happens, spend days in advance preparing and setting up a scenario so that everybody can respond to everybody else's needs. So if somebody gets stuck in a snowbank, there's somebody else to pick up the slack and cover for them. All this takes place behind the scenes that nobody ever knows about, so that we're constantly prepared to do that. And there were no incidences of any substance during those storms that came through here and hit us badly in 2 or 3 days, and we handled them all very well. And kudos to the 911 center for the hard work that it did there, and for the exceptional work the OEM Center did. And I believe Administrator Hoff slept up there most of the time.
I can't say that I slept, but I spent many hours up there.
And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lazar. Approval of consent agenda. Freeholders, please review consent agenda items A through C. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolution is in and will further the public interest. If any freeholder would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now. No one would like to have anything removed. Please give me a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through C.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Lazaro, second by Graham. Discussion.
Yes, Freeholder Director, the first resolution will authorize grant application for our state health insurance program, also known as SHIP, that provides counseling services to those who are eligible or currently in Medicare. The second resolution is authorizing professional service agreement with the architects Arcari and Iovino in regards to developing conceptual plans for the library, specifically in context of the library construction bond referendum that was passed by New Jersey state voters last year. We will be continuing our conversation with the community college as well to determine if partnering with them is the most cost-effective way in the delivery of our library services. And then the last resolution is for the purchase of our system maintenance for the mobility management software that Transit uses in the execution of its duties concerning the mobility system maintenance and the associated consulting services that come from RouteMatch Software Incorporated.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Just that this might assist with some of the, if you're talking college and,
Yep.
and library.
Yep, very good, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Allen. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Can I have approval of the minutes for the regular meeting, March 14th, 2018?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro,
Second.
second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. I have approval of minutes from the executive session on March 14th, 2018.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. Appointments and/or resignations. Resolution regarding reappointment of Robert W. Huber as the alternative member / plumbing subcode official for the Sussex County Uniform Construction Code Board of Appeals for a term of 4 years. Term to begin immediately and expire December 31st, 2021.
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro,
Second.
second by Graham. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Freeholders, please review resolutions A through C and offer me a motion to approve resolutions A through 3 after review.
A motion?
Motion by Freeholder Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion.
Yes, I have a discussion on C. This resolution is so powerful, so awesome, that the BPU is already, BPU to hold hearing on storm response in Byron tomorrow. Byron Intermediate School will be the location of the first of 5 public hearings that will be held by the State Board of Public Utilities as part of an investigation into the response of the state's 4 electric companies to back-to-back nor'easters. The hearing will be held on Thursday, April 5th from 4 to 7 p.m. in school located at 12 Mansfield Drive. The second hearing will take place Thursday, April 12th at Parsippany Town Hall. So I think that this, what kind of a, it was in the paper today.
Is it tomorrow or is it April 5th?
I'm sorry, April 5th. It's not
Okay.
tomorrow. It's next Thursday. But they're having it next, they're already jumping into it, so.
Do we want to have a, do we want to modify this in any way or send a statement from the board, you know, since they're having a hearing, maybe we would like to, I don't know if we can change it this time to say, you know, we just basically discuss it with how they handle the situation. I mean, can we modify it at this point to say that, or do you want to pull it?
Modify it in any way you want. It could be pulled. The motion could be to remove resolution C. Anything you'd like to do?
I think as a freeholder board, we should say something to the BPU that, you know, we were very unhappy, because the resolution was to come up here and have a, you know, have a board, so, and have something. Can we do this? Can we pull that and direct our administrator to draft a formal letter from the board, which we all would sign it, and just say, here's the issues that the constituents complained about, poor communication, those things, and just to have that put on file at that meeting. Is that something that we can do, or?
Mr. Director, if I may. What I might suggest is that the board, as it conceived of this resolution, had anticipated that this very issue might present itself, that the BPU might schedule something. So I would suggest that the board give its consideration to this resolution. And while there certainly is no issue directing me to prepare a letter to the BPU, as most if not all of these state regulatory agencies will hold these public hearings, correspondence does not hold the same weight that individuals going and presenting testimony before the commissioners that will be at that hearing. So while I would support the drafting of the letter, there may want to be some additional conversation by the members of the board relative to your participation at that hearing to list the various grievances that you had heard from your constituents during these recent storm outages.
Well, I think that having the go forward as it is, to me, is fine. It puts it on the record that we requested them to come up there, and they have come up here, and so I think it plays out well. I didn't know that this until this afternoon, and I said, you know, I think we better at least acknowledge the fact that it's already in play. So I'm in favor of just leaving it as it is right now, and then.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Resolutions A through C pass. Awards of contract change orders bids. Freeholders, please review A1, B1, and C, and change order C1. I'm sorry, award of contracts A1 and B1. Please review. And when ready, please offer me a motion to award these contracts.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion.
Yes, the first is a contract extension to Diamond Pharmacy for pharmaceutical services to the correctional facility. And the second is a award of contract for various vendors for professional testing services that are used in our road resurfacing projects.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Freeholders, please review change order C1, and when ready, please give me a motion to approve change order C1.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion.
Do you have, Ms. Bob, do you have any specifics on this? I know that this was where the bond took over. We had a difficult time in getting this project done. I think we actually had 2 contractors that had come through, and I think we called the bond twice.
Mr. Fox, perhaps if you could give a history both for the present
We
members
have
of the board and the public present.
Sure. Freeholder Graham has articulated exactly what had taken place. There were certain improvements to be conducted at the library. Ultimately, the vendor was unable to satisfactorily perform those services. The bonding company, as required by our procurement regulations, was called in, to which they provided ultimately the contractor that finished those services. In terms of specifics, those things that were approved had to do with the casting of a particular color for the stones that were used in the project. There was additional window framing, soffit framing. There were changes to the electrical panel. There were access doors that were required, and also some additional window modifications that went into what is this change order for that particular project.
And this was a complicated project that we had the first contractor that left it. But we did have a difficult time with, I know that there was some framing changes because we were having difficulty in holding the heat.
This was, in fact, this was based upon field conditions
Yes.
that were observed during the construction. For those that are involved with public construction projects, or any construction projects for that matter, particularly when you're working on an existing facility, the engineers and architects are only able to do so much in the preparation of those specifications. And as window frames and walls are removed and some of the underneath construction is exposed, it will lead to change orders such as this, but it was further complicated as a result of the original vendor not being able to complete the project.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Financial resolution regarding payments of bills. May I have a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bill.
Motion by Graham, second by Yardley. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Abstain.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Resolution regarding payment of bills. May I have a motion to pay these bills?
Motion to pay these bills.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Resolution regarding transfer of 2017 appropriation reserve. Resolution regarding authorizing emergency temporary appropriations of the 2018 operating budget for the county of Sussex. Resolution regarding canceling reserve balance in the amount of $58,500 on the county farmland preservation recreation open space trust fund balance sheet dedicated to the acquisition of Mountain View Farm in Frankfort Township. Can I have a motion to approve those resolutions?
Motion.
Motion by Graham,
Second.
second by Lazaro. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose?
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley?
Yes.
Introduction for first reading ordinance. Ordinance regarding capital ordinance providing for improvements to the various county roads and bridges by, in, and for the county of Sussex, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $5,057,931 from New Jersey Department of Transportation's fiscal year 2018 annual transportation program ATP County and grant to pay for the cost thereof. Can I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading?
Motion.
Motion by Graham.
Second.
Second by Yardley. Discussion.
This is additional funding?
Mr. Popkin?
This is to effectuate the monies that the county will receive from the New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2018 annual transportation program.
And so this is not additional debt then, it is a grant?
That is correct. This resolution approves the 2018 ATP state aid project pool that is detailed within the body of the ordinance.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this resolution as introduced for first reading and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center, together with a notice of public hearing stating that a hearing will be held on April 11, 2018 at 7:00 p.m. prior to final adoption of this resolution?
Motion.
Motion by Graham.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. Introduction for first reading ordinance. Ordinance, bond ordinance providing for capital improvements to the science laboratories at Sussex County Technical School located within the county of Sussex, state of New Jersey, appropriating $790,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $790,000 bonds or notes to the county of Sussex, state of New Jersey, for financing of such appropriation. Can I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Motion by Lazaro.
Second.
Second by Graham. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
I have a motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this resolution as introduced for first reading and also post same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administrative Center, together with a notice of public hearing stating that a hearing will be held on April 11, 2018 at 7:00 p.m. prior to final adoption of this resolution.
Motion.
Motion by Graham.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. Personnel? No personnel. Administrative report?
As we have closed session this evening, I'll reserve my comments for closed session. Thank you.
Thank you. County Council?
No report.
Any unfinished business? Any new business? Executive session, resolution regarding providing for an executive closed session not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12 et sec. Whereas the subject matters about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders in exception to the quote Open Public Meetings Act end quote pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12b, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of Chosen Freeholders to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex, in accordance with provisions of NJSA 10:4-12b and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into an executive session which the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of subjects to be discussed relate to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12b as designated below. Matters related to litigation, negotiations, attorney-client privilege, specifically CWA 1032, CWA 1032 supervisors, CWA 1032 social services, BBA 138 sheriff's unit contracts. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders or provided by law. Public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality, and be it further resolved that upon completion of the business which the board has entered into executive session, the board shall reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public.
Mr. Director, if I may, before you call for that motion, I might just suggest, while the agenda has already been set, we have had one or two individuals in the audience who have requested to be heard
I was
before
just
the
going to
board.
move that. Have the public
And
session now. and
As
go
I
back.
don't anticipate that I'm not seeking any action by the board coming out of closed session, while we will reconvene and open, it might be appropriate to allow the members of the public to be heard.
That makes sense. To effectuate that, there would not be, I've heard no motion or second, so this motion dies. A member of the Freeholder Board could make a motion to set the rules aside and to hear item 21 prior to 20 and go out of order in the agenda.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Lazar, second by Graham. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. We'll go out of order, and 21 will be done before item 20. Item 21, public session from the floor. Please note everyone is asked to keep their comments to 5 minutes or less. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet. Do I have a motion to open the public session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Graham, second by Lazar. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The floor is open to the public. Yes, ma'am.
I was asked to report to you by the Human Services Advisory Council.
Tell us who
Ma'am,
you are.
I'm Marjorie Gale, I'm
Can you
a member of the council.
Okay.
Could you please sign in to the sign-in sheet?
Yes, I will. So the council has continued to meet and work during the last 3 months despite the chaotic weather conditions. The second meeting of the year was held scheduled on March 28th, which is today. During the month of March, the subcommittees have continued to focus on developing a professional, community, and consumer educational plan that can be executed every year. The county's homeless service providers held presentations for the Homeless Coordination Committee and will be working on creating a model of best practices in the coming months. In addition, our Child Abuse Missing Children Committee has developed a request for quotes that will allow for up to $2,500 in funding for a project that either provides prevention educational programs for abused children, their parents, or the parents of missing children, or prevention educational information concerning the available services in the county and the state for abused children. The Sussex County Human Services Advisory Council continues to recruit new members in order to maintain and bolster its ability to meet the needs of human service recipients in Sussex County. These efforts have resulted in a current membership of 9 providers, 8 consumer advocates, 2 state-mandated positions, and 3 non-voting members. HSAC meetings are open to all human service providers, consumers, consumer advocates, and the general public. And of course, we know several of you come frequently to the meetings. So we'd like to thank our liaison freeholder, Deputy Director Sylvia Patillo, not here to thank her at the moment, and the rest of the members of the Board of Freeholders for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will sign.
Any comments from the board? Mr. Snyder?
John Snyder, Sanderson Township. I have a question on the financial, 15E. Canceling reserve balance in the amount of $58,500 on the county farmland preservation reclamation and open space trust fund balance sheet dedicated to the acquisition of Mountain View Farm in Franklin Township. What does that mean? What happened?
My understanding is that the property owner has decided not to proceed in the farmland preservation program, and so that effectively cancels what had been set aside for the purchase of farm rights.
And that money comes from the state and goes through the county, or is that part of our budget?
It's part of the county's dedicated trust, specifically for farmland preservation.
But the trust is part of the budget?
No, technically not, but it is county taxpayer funds in a dedicated.
Dedicated tax.
Yeah, it's a dedicated tax.
We have a dedicated tax.
It shows up separately outside of the general tax levy.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Being no one from the public, I have a motion to close the meeting to the public. Motion. Motion by Graham.
Second.
Second by Lazaro. Discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? The ayes have it, the floor is closed to the public. And back to item 20, executive session regarding resolution regarding providing for an executive closed session not open to public in accordance with provisions of NJSA 10:4-12 at sec. Whereas the subject matter is about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders as an exception to the quote Open Public Meetings Act end quote pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12b. And whereas it appears necessary for the Board of Chosen Freeholders to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be resolved. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex in accordance with provisions of NJSA 10:4-12b and NJSA 10:4-13 afforded this time entered into an executive session where the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of the subjects to be discussed relate to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12b as designated below. Matters related to litigation, negotiation, and attorney-client privilege, CWA 1032, CWA 1032 supervisor, CWA 1032 social services, PBA 138 sheriff's unit negotiations. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, or provided by law that the public interest no longer be served by such confidentiality, and be it further resolved that upon completion of the business which the board has entered into an executive session, the board shall reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
To approve that. Motion by Graham, second by Lazaro. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Freeholder Graham.
Yes.
Freeholder Lazaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rose.
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.